Hi guys, it's Uldouz and welcome to the Uldouz Show. Today I have a very special guest. His name is Big Guy Ryback and he's a wrestler. He's a big guy. He likes to wrestle and he's done the whole WWE and everything. So thank you so much for joining my show today, Big Guy Ryback.
Thank you, Oodles, for having me. Oodles Noodles. That is your dubbed wrestling name.
Yeah.
Life is good. How are you?
I'm good. We were just saying earlier, like, oh, if I ever join wrestling, my name will be Noodles. And I'm just like,
Oodles Noodles.
I'll just wiggle my way out of there.
A bunch of noodles would drop down from the ceiling and they would be like with the air machines, the little Oodles noodles, the little air blowers.
Yeah, I just slap people with noodles, like,
very limber and just noodly in the ring. That's your
yeah, I just wiggle my way out of there. I'm like, I have a bad knee. Like,
you don't want to, you would want to be like a valet where you get to get all the fame and glory and be recognized, but you don't actually have to do any of the physicality. That is the key to doing well in wrestling. Avoid the physicality.
Is there like any wrestlers that are doing that now? Because that's totally what I want to do. In my head, I was like, I would be a great wrestler if I didn't have to wrestle. Like, you know? Yeah.
That's the key. Or backstage interviewer. But like, if you want backstage interviewers don't get as much attention as far as, unless you you have your following already on social, that would be, but like if you're actually on the TV program as a character, as like Oodles Noodles, and you're just the valet of some big jacked wrestler or whoever, a high flyer, and know, then, but yeah, they have that there. They do with the different promotions that they do that. It's just, it's not as much, but it can be done.
I thought when you said valet, like I will be like driving somebody else up there. Like,
Oodles, we have a convertible we need you to take down to the ring.
Noodles coming here.
Yeah. We got a job for you valeting the talent's car in the back, Oodles, as they pull into the arena as they get to the Staples Center. I think is it Staples still, or is it a different name?
I don't know. You asking me? I don't even. Staples Center? Yeah, Staples Center.
I think it's what it used to be, the arena downtown LA.
Yeah.
And they have you get there, you pull in, and then they have the valet will usually take your car, and then they park it for you, and then you go and you take your bags into the building. But that's what you can have Oodles down there parking the cars.
I will be a horrible valet. I would totally like mess up all the cars and like
go take the nice one.
I would be driving like
yeah.
Hit the side. You know, all my accidents have been like with like poles and stuff.
Are you one of those female drivers that wrecks a lot?
No. I'm actually a good driver. I know how to maneuver and stuff.
You just said all my accidents. I feel like a good driver doesn't say that, Oodles.
Like I never had accidents with people or other moving cars. So that's good. I know how to dodge all of those. It's only like stuff that's like standing still. Like, you know,
those if it's still like accidents, so those still go on the insurance, Oodles. Liberty like Mutual doesn't care if the car was moving. A wreck is a wreck.
But it's not like bad, you know, like
have you ever fled the scene of an accident, Oodles?
No, but I had other people like hit my car when it was parked. So that's what I mean. Like I'll park my car and other people will hit my car, you know?
So that's not on you then. That's not you being a bad driver.
I mean, I had some times where I like, you know, hit the curb or like, you know, hit the wall and stuff like that, or, you know.
That's like, literally all the memes I see of women drivers. It's like what you're just describing right now.
But at least it's not moving like people, you know.
Where it's not going to be a severe, or hopefully not a severe accident or anything.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a guy and just hit everybody, you know. Like
you never know. It's more of an oopsies on your part, like oopsies, I hit the curb.
So that's why I don't think I would be a good valet. And plus, I like tried the whole service jobs. Like I was like a waitress. I didn't know how to open up a wine bottle. So like this guy, like he left his girlfriend to come and help me, and then everybody started getting pissed off, and then the wine went everywhere, you know. So yeah, like service jobs were really my thing. You know?
I worked as a server when I was younger. When I got released from wrestling temporarily. It's a Smoky Bones in Louisville, Kentucky. Where were you a waitress at?
In San Diego and then Vancouver. Like, I tried it. Well, I was a beer tap girl in San Diego, and that I was good at because I like knew how to hustle and stuff. and
Yeah.
I didn't have to like move around and things like that. And it was just tequila and beer, But then like when I was in Vancouver, I worked at this like comedy club called Yuck. Was it Yuck Yucks? Yeah. So I worked there, and then people were like enjoying the comedy club, and I'm over here spilling on everybody.
Those jobs are, I have a lot of respect for people. Like I worked very hard at that job at like 60-hour weeks. And like, that was kind of a low point, but also the turning point, high point in my life. But like, I have a high respect for servers and
Yeah,
people in the food industry and in the nightlife industry here in Vegas and all. It's a
it's
lot of
hard.
work. Yeah.
And what I
People can
noticed
be
is like
mean.
holding up that tray, like you got to be really strong, and you have to have like a
Yeah.
tray arm. Like you're just like, you know?
I used to load those trays up after I got good at like doing that. But I remember there was one time at the Smoky Bones, we used to take the coffee machine and put like 2 or 3 bags of the coffee and make super strong coffee, way too much caffeine. And eventually we stopped doing that because we were serving that to people too. And like I remember an old couple one time, I go, we can't be giving elderly people triple strength caffeine, and they're not like,
Yeah,
we had an intervention. I was like, we have to stop this. This is not like, this is, so if we make it, we have to dump it out, whatever's extra, and not leave it in the pot for the customers. But I was really jittery one day, and I had a tray of
mhm,
all the drinks. It was a huge party in there, and I'm just
yeah,
shaking. Oh, I thought it was going to be bad, and it wasn't me. My buddy who had the same coffee, he lost his tray full of drinks, went everywhere, and I go,
oh
like,
god,
that's the most embarrassing thing that could ever happen to a server,
yeah.
spilling
And
that
then you
on
got to
people like
place the
this.
drinks like at certain places on the tray, because
Yeah.
otherwise it will like tip over.
And if you take them off, you got to like balance it out as you take them off, because otherwise, like, you can have a dumb moment. You take all of them off on the right side, and the tray just falls to the left. Like,
That's what happened to me all the time. Like you take one drink off and you're like, whoa. It will like fall on top of somebody's
oh,
hair or something.
yeah, ruin their day and their meal out, and then they hate that they're not tipping you. Oh,
Yeah. And I'm like, can
yeah,
you
horrible.
believe it? No tip? Like,
I
always.
actually got I had a pretty good, people were pretty cool with me. Out
Yeah.
there was just, I remember one time there were 2 people that ate and left and didn't pay, and that was the only like really thing. And even that wasn't that bad. Didn't really, other than that, everyone was pretty cool with me for the year and a half I did that. So
Yeah. I mean, I was like, okay. Like I had, like, it wasn't that bad until one day this group of girls, they wanted to like beat me up outside of the like comedy club.
really,
So I guess they were really not happy with their service.
that's pretty intense.
Yeah, I
That's,
had to escape in the back, like in the back of it.
sneak
Like,
oodles out through the back. That's
yeah, they were waiting for me outside. And then I got fired because they're like, yeah, this isn't working for you. So I got fired, but then my boss was like trying to sexually harass me too. So
you hear
I
that a
found out,
lot in those places.
yeah, I found out that he like basically gave me the job because he was trying to get with me, like. But I didn't know that until he fired me like 2 months later. Yeah, so
It's
it
not
was.
it's not easy going through life being a good looking person, Oodles. It's, you gotta keep your head on a swivel at all times.
You know what's so crazy is like I never even looked at myself as like being somewhat attractive, because when I grew up in Sweden, everybody was like, "Oh my god, like, ugh," like they didn't
They
like
made
me.
fun. Oodles got made fun of a lot growing up.
Yeah, like they called me like baboon butt and wooden legs, and like they were saying that the devil is in my hair because it's black, and in my eyes because they're not like blue. So like imagine Sweden, everybody's like blonde and blue eyed, right? So I looked so different. I had my like little bowl cut and stuff.
Like Jim Carrey and Dumb and Dumber.
I look like, yeah, I look like Jim Carrey from Dumb
There's
and
that
Dumber.
pumpkin pied haircut freak Oodles.
Yeah. So people are like, oh, here comes the blackhead, like here comes the
I always pictured
blackhead.
Sweden as being this friendly country. Sweden sounds horrible here hearing this.
Oh yeah, like I mean, yeah, growing up there was like not very like they weren't really nice, but there was like a lot of like benefits of it. I mean, I ultimately got out of Iran, so
Yeah.
like that was better than you know all that stuff that I would have been wearing like a burqa thing, you know?
Oh no, no, I've been all over the world. I've wrestled in different parts of Iraq. Was it Riyadh? Been there a couple times. Like
Yeah.
I've been to some crazy places, and it's as crazy as things seem like they are here. Like I've been in India, in
Yeah.
Mumbai and New Delhi, where in where you're at very nice like five-star hotels,
Mhm.
and like the riches are blended with dirt poor, like naked people on the street, babies, kids,
Yeah.
everyone panhandling, and like just burning stuff to try to like you're just like looking, and like the people live in like they're like cargo sheds that are stacked on top of each other, but inside they're supposedly pretty decent, they say. But like even then, it's just you just look at like in the way the traffic, there's no real direction or signals, and I
Yeah.
just remember really being really really overwhelmed at first. Then you get used to it as you're there, but just saying like, oh, I'm really thankful that we live where we live. And like I always try to explain that to people that they trust me, it could be a lot worse,
Yeah.
than what it is. But
Yeah, that's so true. Like you gotta like appreciate the things that you have, instead
yeah,
of what you don't have, because some people don't even have that, right? So
you want to know what makes me happy? This is why every single day I talk about this all the time, like on my show and things I do. Being grateful, and like we all are like living our own lives, and like it's really difficult sometimes with social media not to compare ourselves to other people, because we I don't believe we're ever meant to have access to billions of people and what they're doing every day. So it takes a lot of self-control, but it's knowing who we are and what makes us happy, and
yeah.
then being repetitive and consistent with those things. It's like every day I go get a black coffee from Starbucks, it makes me so happy, Oodles. It's the
Yeah.
simplest of things, but I keep certain things in my day that make me happy. And like my dogs, I love my dogs, so I spend a lot of time with my dogs and things. And like whenever I get stressed out, I know the things that make me happy, like working out most days
Yeah.
keeps me sane. It helps like, and it's like I think we need to have those things in our life to, and really, it doesn't matter. I've met people that are very very rich, very very rich, and they
Yeah.
they literally have said, they go, we wish we had your mindset on life because we're miserable. And like and I keep that in my head of where I'm striving to go and doing, because I was like, we got to recognize it right here right now each and every day,
Yeah.
because when we're chasing other things, it's like it doesn't matter, yeah, it'd be great to have 5 billion in the bank account, but like if you're miserable inside and you can't
Mhm.
shut that miserableness off, what's the point?
No, you're so right. It took me a long time to like understand that you really don't need much just to be
Yeah.
happy. Like I like literally woke up one day and then I like looked over in my bedroom and I was like, you know what? I'm happy, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and I always thought, like, oh, if I have this job or this or that, there was always like the next thing, if I had that more or
Yeah.
this more, and then, I will be happy. But then I realized, like, it took me some time, but I realized, like, you know what? Like, you don't need anything to be happy. You could just be like, okay with what you have, and you realize like that's enough. Like there needs to, you don't need to have a bunch of stuff or superficial things or whatever, like followers or that work or that job or money. Like
Hmm.
it's good, like you don't need to have all of that to be happy. And that's what
We
it's so
focus
hard
on,
to understand for a lot of people. And I think once you get to the other side and you worked your ass off, like getting there, and you finally have it, and you start realizing, like, you know, you're not still happy, maybe, or what's going on, right?
mhm,
And all of a sudden you understand, like, okay, I thought that this would be it, but it's not. And then you get the next thing, and then it's still not happy.
yeah. You have to
Then,
figure that out before
yeah.
you go. It's okay. Like I always say too, though, it's a mindset of like, and I always do. The hashtag hungry with all my stuff of like living a hungry lifestyle in all areas of life.
Hmm.
But we oftentimes as humans like we stress out over what we don't have in the moment, and we overlook what we do have. And
Yeah.
that's where being grateful and like feeling that, like every night I go to bed with my dogs by me. And like I remember being in different situations where I was on the road for weeks at a time in other countries and away from my family. And I just go, this is such peace that I'm living right now, and having a beautiful place, and like in
Mm.
security and that. But like we need to, like I tell people too, though, we do need to have drive and ambition, because like we live in a world where like money is oxygen
Yeah.
with that. So we do need a certain level of that. Money is freedom, I believe.
Yes.
So we do need a certain level of that now, but we don't need as much as what we oftentimes, depending on our lifestyle. Like, but if we're
Yeah.
caught up in the wrong things and we're overspending, now that's putting a stress on us to have to make more money than we maybe would have had to make, where we
Yeah.
could have been very comfortable and happy if we were internally at peace with ourselves. And that's the game that majority of people don't figure out, unfortunately. And the ones that do live amazing, happy lives. And it's like, so that's what I always try to strive for, like no matter what, and everything I've done and like walked away from all of it, and I'm gonna walk back into it. And but I'm at such a grounded place mentally where it's like fame doesn't matter, like with any of that stuff. It's being
Mm.
at peace and doing what you love and being happy, making other people happy, and feeling and emotion. And like those are the things I think as you start getting older, you realize you put a little more importance on.
Yeah, no, it's true because you could literally have like a million people following you or loving you, or you can have millions of dollars in your bank account, and you're just kind of like not doing what you feel good about, even,
Yeah,
and that's another thing. A lot of times, you work and you might have all this money and all this stuff, but is it something that you're really happy or proud of, or so there's a
yeah,
lot of that too. It's just about feeling good inside and feeling good about what you're doing,
yeah.
and you're setting the people that you're around, like a lot of that stuff. And I think a lot of people, they don't even realize that. So what's the like ups and downs of wrestling? Like, what are the good parts? What are the bad parts? What's your advice for somebody that wants to get into wrestling? And like, what should they look out for? Is it all that it seems?
Yeah, no, so like I've loved it since I was a kid and always wanted to do it. And I came from playing baseball and football, played soccer when I was younger, and just it came really easy to me as far as just once I decided that that's what I was going to do. It's by far the most physically and mentally demanding thing in the world, but it's also one of the most rewarding, amazing things in the world. Of getting to perform in front of thousands of people in different arenas and stadiums, and with millions watching live, and wrestling being live, a couple times a week on TV, and then doing live pay-per-views all over. It is, and you've got kids, people literally, you're playing a superhero.
Yeah.
It's physical acting, and it's where you're your own stuntman, and there's people that are better and more believable than others with that. But you literally, it's like you get to go out and just enjoy the fruits of your labor, and go out there and just in real time do these amazing things, and feel the pressure to pull off amazing things. And
Hmm.
that is something I miss greatly in being off of TV now, for since it's been almost 6 years that I walked away. And I wrestled for a few past that with everything while I started my supplement company. And then I
Yeah.
had to stop with my injuries until I got better here. But like I miss that greatly. Every day I think about that, and what it would be like to experience that again.
Yeah.
But it is, like I said, the injuries are very real, unfortunately. And I needed a 5 disc fusion and shoulder replacement from some things I had that had happened to me in wrestling through injuries for years. And when I walked away, I walked away from a nice contract. And
Hmm.
but if I would have stayed, I would have had to retire, and in a very short amount of time. And that was at 34. So the injury aspect of it is the thing, and that is very real. And you're on the road, and when you sign those contracts, for the majority of the talent that do, you're gone. Like you're living on the road. Like you're home a day and a half, 2 days a week, typically, with the way that WWE schedule was. And I think it's
Wow.
lightened up a little, but like if you can't imagine, so you're just wrestling 5 days a week, beat up. You got to go train every day to stay in shape. You got to get like all your meals on the road. You're checking into hotel rooms. You fly multiple times a week from like your home city to the first city that you're going to be wrestling in. So you'll do like 3 shows or 3 or 4 live events that are not televised. where you're like full blown though wrestling in front of thousands of people. Then you got to go to TV like on a Monday or a Tuesday, or it's on Fridays now for their SmackDown, where you're there all day like on a TV set, a production in these big arenas with all of that. And then you go home and you've got your bags. You got to like, when, after each show though too, you got to drive 3 to 5 hours to each. Like this is like the not non-glamorous side of pro wrestling. There's not team buses. There's not, there, every once in a blue moon, there will be a charter flight if it's over a 5-hour drive. But even then, sometimes I've done the drives that are like 8, 9 hours, and they're not a lot of them, but occasionally just because you don't want to go wait for 2.5 hours at the airport with everyone and then sit on a plane and I'm just going to drive and get a hotel 3/4 of the way, then make the rest of the drive in the morning. And like, these are the things that people don't see on that it just to get there, to give yourself a chance to go out and do it. And it's one of those deals. It's just your way. And so people that are getting into it, you got to really love it. And, also, but once you get to a certain point, and I've been blessed in walking away and like getting things going well for me, that eventually you go back and do it on your terms, where you don't do it in where, like, I don't believe in ever going back, like in wrestling, like 5 days a week. I look at it more like MMA, where you do a few matches a year, or like come and do certain programs and then you take some time off and let your body rest. And like, I have a business now and do other things where I don't need to do that full time. So, but it's a commitment. It is a commitment. And I put my time in. I served just like as if everyone else that has made it there. And I got signed at 22 out of college at UNLV. So it's like,
Wow, that's a long time though. I can only imagine like your body can only last so long, like putting that much pressure on it, like
mileage.
constantly,
Yeah.
I don't know. I couldn't even, I'm telling you, like my knee is like a little like,
That's why you're oodles noodles. You have that limp knee. It's just like,
But the thing is, like, I injured myself at 12. Well, I was actually wrestling with a guy and he got mad because I won, I was like a tomboy and I won. And all the guys were like laughing at him, like, oh, your girl beat you up. So he got pissed off and he pushed me from behind like this. And then I fell and I hit my knee on like a brick. And then that was it. Like, it hasn't been the same since. And you would have thought, like, wow, after 12, all these years, it should have been better by now. No, it's like, so that's the whole issue. Is like, once you get injured, I really feel like you can heal, but there's still never gonna be the same,
Well, especially if you had a significant injury and didn't know it as a kid, you could have partially torn something, and then it just never fully recovered, where or scar tissue's in there and it's just kind of bothers you. And
yeah.
But like, I tell you now though, I'm 40 now. I feel better than I did at my whole wrestling career.
Oh, really?
Oh, I'm like, I look the same.
What are you on? Like, give me some of that.
I've had 19 stem cell procedures. I've gone to Columbia, this company BioAccelerator.
Yeah.
By the way, if anyone's listening, this company has paid for me to go out there twice and given me so much treatment. That was, and then my doctor here was in Dr. Baumgartel, who's still my doctor. He's in San Diego now, actually.
Yeah.
I'm actually getting ready to do stem cell commercials for him in San Diego.
Nice.
But like it is what has given me my health back with that. And then I also though, like I went vegan for 18 months and I do eggs now in my diet. I do eggs and a full vegan. So I think that's called octo vegetarian, if I'm not octo vegetarian, but no meat or chicken or fish or anything like that. And a lot of fruits and vegetables. And I really believe it's the fountain of youth with all of that. And
really? So I tried that too, but then I started like getting a lot of injuries when I like did the whole vegan and vegetarian and all that. So I started getting like a lot of injuries, but then I don't know what happened. All of a sudden one day I'm like, I need meat.
What happens is, and I've read about, so you got to learn. I've worked with a nutritionist and I learned all the foods. So once you have to have a diverse diet when you go, especially specifically when you go vegan, and it's very easy to do once you learn the foods. Problem is like, I did it wrong the first time I did it, and I started feeling sluggish at times. And there's certain things you got to make sure that you just diet wise and you get those nutrients. But that's usually when that happens to people, it's your body screaming for the certain nutrients that it knows it's going to get in that stuff because it hasn't gotten it in anything else that you're eating. So that's where like But they say too, like I do, like I don't get me wrong, I love the taste of steak, and I love chicken wings more than probably any that in Texas de Brazil, the steak, the Brazilian steakhouses,
Oh my gosh, so
and chicken
delicious. Do you eat
Buffalo
those
Wild.
little cheese buns? Like,
I'll eat everything there. Like I just
oh,
love
so
the
yummy.
like my card is green the entire time I've ever. I don't think I've ever like I don't put my card on red until like I'm like it's time to go.
Yeah.
Like and even then I'm like eating steak on the way to go pay. And I'm just like it's. But
Yeah.
I ate more meat than anybody,
Yeah.
pounds a day, like and but I do understand. I then once you started like learning what happened, what goes on with the animals, and I go, I don't want to
Yeah.
contribute to kind of what the system is right now. And I go, but they say if you can go 85% plant-based and
Yeah.
just occasionally have that stuff, and that I think is the goal, because I don't think we clearly did eat this stuff at different points in times depending on the civilization and where you were and what part of the world you grew up in and lived in and what time period it was. But there's also been vegans throughout these periods that have thrived, and I think it's
Mhm.
the research shows, though, if you can be at least 85% plant-based, you're going to live a longer, healthier, more productive life. And I've
Yeah.
seen it in my from my endurance and just like in life in general, my energy levels and like and I just feel better. My workouts are better. So I go, okay, I'm very performance based on it. And this was an easy switch, but we live in a world though, unfortunately, where it's all around us and we're over consuming it and it's being heavily processed and drugs. And so I don't know. It's but like I go through this because like I went through like reading all the books. I'm like, but if you look at all of life is just killing each other. Like
Yeah.
like whether you watch a documentary on the oceans, like
Mm.
talk about like eye opening. Like being a
Yeah.
creature in the ocean is like everything's just eating everything, and that's like kind of the way the world is in the on land. And but we have a choice, and we do thrive on plants, but it is hard because it does taste good, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I don't like I tell people like I don't hate the taste of it. I love it with it, but I once I learned the animal aspect of things, and I
I
go, I can be
know.
a better athlete.
That's the hard part for me because I like look at these cute little
Yeah,
animals and stuff, and then
they're
I
being
was like,
tortured.
okay, and you know what's so crazy? This also kind of started a while back, but then I slowly got more and more into it. So this company, they sent me these like ginormous like lobsters, and I had to do like a promo for them, right?
Yeah,
And they gave me the lobsters, but when I took out the lobster, like the I swear to God, like the lobster looked at me and the eyes were like huge, and like they looked at me, and it was like where am I? What's going on?
yeah,
And it was a ginormous lobster. I think I might still have it on my Instagram too. But I was like looking at it, and when I looked into the lobster's eyes, I know this sounds crazy, but it like literally was like don't like do this, or
yeah. Oh, it's
like
not crazy though, but that's real. That's where you have being compassionate and understanding of like I think you get to a point, and especially when you do this, you become more respectful of life in general, and
yeah,
you realize that there's more to life than just us,
yeah,
and that we all play a significant role in the world that we live in. And that's things die. It's unfortunate. No matter what you do, things are going to die in life. It's just the way you're walking around. We're killing stuff. Like
yeah.
it's making a choice to try to be more compassionate
Mhm.
and understanding. And like it's just like we have all the foods that we have need made available to us. And like a lot of like I live in Vegas. We have Cali is the same. We
Yeah,
have we're one of the best cities in the world for vegan restaurants, as you guys are, I believe.
yeah,
Like they're everywhere here. You'd be amazed at how great everything actually is. But we've just like we have this system. It's like, then I look like I told you, life is that all this stuff is killing each other, and you're like, well, where does the line stop? And like, but it's just you, like you said, you felt it, and I think that's the thing. You
yeah,
can once you see that, you then just like it's because you have more of a personal connection. But like what we're doing on like the factory farming, and it's I think when it sit right with the majority of people with
yeah.
that. And
If they actually knew like and saw
the
what
source,
happens,
yeah,
like all the killing part of aspects, but a lot of people, they don't want to see it because they actually don't want to like
that yeah,
spoil the
they don't want to
idea.
make the connection.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they don't want to get that idea like, oh my God, I'm killing, or this thing
our
died so I can
choices.
eat it.
Yeah,
Yeah. But
Our
that poor
choices
lobster, I
contribute.
gave it away to like the guy that I was shooting a video with. I'm like, just take all of the lobster. I don't want any part of it. And ever since that day, I haven't been able to eat lobster.
Well, they've passed laws, I think, in the UK, and where like lobsters and like crabs, that like boiling them alive, like they can't do that anymore. And I don't
Yeah.
have all the details, but there's like, I always just thought it was odd that we always they used to say like, oh, they don't feel pain and things, yet they're screaming in boiling hot water. Like
Yeah, like of
common
course
sense says like, hey, I don't think anything's gonna think that feels good. Like,
yeah, like they're like,
yeah.
like I think it's awful. Like, yeah.
But if you look at
So,
too like farming, and like if I look at like too like Vegas, there's places to get the eggs from farms that raise chickens, and they don't kill them, and they live great lives. That to me, and like there's people like if you had your own farm and you had your own animals that lived healthy lives, and you ate though based off of what if there was more eggs, a surplus of eggs, you ate more eggs. You have your plants, you have everything, your fruits and vegetables, and then when an animal reaches a point in its life, and it passes away, if you choose to then eat that, and that to me is a different thing than the system we've like turned it into a business.
yeah.
And it's where it's tough, and it's like, well, what's the solution? And it's like, well, not what they're doing, but
Yeah. But that's so cool though, because I think a lot of people, they might see you like doing the whole wrestling thing, or
yeah.
they have this idea of you and you're like this big teddy bear, like, oh, protect the animals, like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love it.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm pretty well rounded. I feel like I learned a long time ago just to be ourselves. Like people are going to love and hate us no matter what, and so we might as well just be ourselves. But like I think that's a fighter thing too. Sometimes people think that if you are in wrestling, if you're playing a character, I believe if you really are a tough guy and know you're a tough guy, you could just be however you want in
Yeah.
life. Like look at Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Like if you look at Mike, is incredibly deep and funny and hilarious, and like
Mhm.
but when Mike is serious, there's not a person on the planet that's not like, you know what I mean? Because he
Yeah.
knows how to turn it on. And I think but that comes from people that know how to just be comfortable with themselves and are secure and confident. And then you're not afraid to like just have fun and live life and with that. So I always try to make that, not saying I'm the toughest guy in the world, but like just saying like that I have that confidence where I'm not afraid to be judged based off of just that. So
You should do that for like your next like wrestling piece. You should come in there with like a baby goat, and then you like call out the other guy, and then he's like over there eating some meat or something, and then you're like, I'm here to beat you because you don't eat the meat. We've got to protect this baby goat.
do a vegan character on TV. Oh, that would
Yeah.
actually be, you want to know, take a guess what my wrestling theme song, the name of the song is called. Do you
What
have
is it?
Meat on the Table?
Oh,
My
really?
song is about killing prey.
Oh
That's,
my God, you need to change it all now.
you know what I'm changing it to when I go back?
What?
Beyond Meat on the Table.
Oh, yeah, this is like the deeper version
The
of you.
deeper it
Like,
is, but with the whole Beyond Meat, but it's beyond. I'm now the Big Guy Ryback, bigger and beyond what I ever was.
I love
So
it. And then you should
yeah,
have like
I'm
a
always
baby
thinking of
goat,
this.
like do like the bear sounds. It's like
You really want
bah.
this baby goat to be a part of this.
They're so cute. You have a baby goat like bah, bah, in the
Me coming down to
background.
the ring with a baby goat and the lobsters that you got rid of just
Yeah.
to avenge them.
I just saw a baby goat like the other day and it was so cute. So now I'm like, I wish I had a baby goat. And that family, they have like this like, I don't know, this whole farm like in Malibu, and they were saying like, oh yeah, this goat, we raised it in our house, so that like the goat
Yep.
follows them everywhere they go, and it's like a big ass goat. But
Mm-hmm.
they had it in the house since it was like little. So now in my head, I'm like, imagine just having a baby goat like walking around here, you know?
I always have thought like living. I'm still, because I love my place here in Vegas, but I want to get a place with a bunch of land and be kind of a little bit of away from stuff. Now I still want to be close, but enough to be away in case too, if everything just goes completely haywire, I'm not just like in the city where I'm a little bit of ways with like if things go Walking of the Dead, what's the Walking Dead, like if things just go completely haywire, where I'm not like entrapped in the city with that, but
Yeah.
like I could have like chickens and like little pigs running around with my dogs,
Yeah.
Like I would be so happy. Some pigs, some chickens, some goats. Oh, like growing. I got like all my fruit trees here. I got like 8 or 9 fruit trees growing at my house now with the palm trees. But I was like, just to have a bunch of fruits and vegetables, all like that would be, that to me is like happiness and
Yeah.
peace. Like when I go out and water my plants and stuff, like I'm really happy. That's like a lot of people that'd be like, it's probably an odd thing for them to picture, but like it's doing things like that though to bring peace in this crazy world.
No, I could totally see that. And like as far as like dating and stuff, you don't have somebody that you're like in a relationship with or seeing or
No, I'm
anything like
single
that?
now, but I mean, yeah, I did when I was wrestling.
Yeah.
Online, it actually says that, I don't know. I tried to get rid of this,
Yeah.
and I don't even know how this happened. It says I'm married to somebody called named Melissa Reeves on all the like. It's just it's one of those marriage websites, and then all the
Wait, who
others.
is Melissa Reeves? Is that like a wrestler too or
Never have dated a Melissa. Don't know so I don't even know if some like stalker fan made this and says, "Nope, I'm married to Ryback." But so Oodles, no joke, I've legit met women
Yeah.
and where they quit talking to me because they think I'm married and lying about it. And I'm like, I've emailed these sites and go, you have to take this off. But now I'm so comfortable with it because I go, any woman that
Yeah.
doesn't believe me or just have a conversation and like I look at my social media and not see like there's not pictures of Melissa all around, like I go, if you're going to believe that, you're going to be a problem at some other point down the line. So I take it as a blessing now. Or like,
Yeah.
and I've met people where they actually just go, should I have a question? I looked you up, like, are you married? And I said, no. Then I explained it and they go, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And like
Yeah.
where I go, okay, this person's normal.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm like, whoever did that to try to make my life more difficult, you've actually helped me.
Yeah. No, that's good because it's kind of the similar, like not the same, but similar in other ways with like the cyber stuff. So like I was like one of the victims of the iCloud hack leak. And if people Google me, they get this whole perception of me that's not even true, right?
Wait,
So
you
like
mentioned that you had stuff all leaked.
yeah, so I was hacked by this hacker, right? And then he leaked this video and like a couple pictures of me that my ex took, and he took those without my consent. And then he was like threatening me when I broke up with him, like, oh, I'm gonna leak this to the internet, right?
Oh no.
So I was like, okay, whatever. I called his bluff. I still didn't respond to him, right? But what happened is like all this time passes by and this hacker, he hacks my iCloud. And it was in the beginning when like nobody even knew what the hell the cloud was, and like in 2014, right? So iMessage gets like uploaded into iCloud and all that good stuff, and
Yeah.
then the hacker got into all of this and then basically leaked it, right?
Ugh.
So when they leaked it, it was like all these women and me, we got like all auctioned off to the internet, like we're like livestock or something, And
Yeah.
then everybody's profiting from it, like, basically like digitally raping you and trafficking you online. And
Yeah.
it was so weird for me because I like didn't understand like what the hell is happening? Why is this happening to me? Like I like literally followed all the laws and done good and
Yeah.
like
You did nothing
avoided.
wrong, and then you're dealing with hate from it too with people, and like it's
Yeah.
we
And
talk. Yeah,
like
it's a
people
cruel
seeing
world.
me as this like, oh, she did it on purpose and all this
Yeah.
bullshit that's like not even me. If I wanted to do something, I would have done it all the way. Like if I wanted to do nude images, I would have
Yeah.
done Playboy. I already had that opportunity. If I wanted to do
Yeah.
porn, I would have done straight up porn. So it's like it makes no sense why like people will come up with all these things, and all of the stuff would say hacked and leaked. So it's like
Yeah.
without my consent, like, and people are still watching it and know it's against my consent. So they basically like looking at it, kind of like raping me all over again. So
Yeah.
to me, it was just kind of a weird concept. But
You just got
basically,
to
like,
block it out and move on as much because it sucks. Like we
yeah,
live in that's what like I deal with like haters and negativity. I don't give it the time of day. I tell people I don't hate anyone, but like if you get so angry with me over things that are not true that you read or that you whatever, and you want to spread hate, like I just block and I don't allow the hate and negativity or the disrespect. I call it in Rybackville. Like
yeah,
I don't deal with it. Like because I go in the real world, everyone's nice to me, and I go, if there is a problem, we could talk about it. But majority of people that are doing that and spreading that hate or trying to like, they're not doing well. And
yeah,
we unfortunately live in a world where like I tell people this, we are experiencing in all the different animals, we are experiencing heaven and hell on right now. And it's our
Yeah.
mindset in the world. And most people are experiencing hell, unfortunately. And I don't want to be a part of that hell with them. And
Yeah.
so I just block it out, and like, you just gotta do the same, and like
Yeah.
just have, that's where having like real life and like people enough, you don't have to have a lot of friends, but just having even one or two people that you can count on, and being able to go do stuff and like live in the real world and keep yourselves busy and being productive to create those happy feelings. Over when we have that, it overrides all the negativity and the hate
Yeah.
that comes. But like it can be tough at times, and I feel for like things like that, because I've known people that have had that happen, and they've got bombarded with hate and negativity. I'm like, they didn't do anything wrong. I'm like, let's see what's
Yeah.
in your phone, Jeffrey. Like, I'm pretty sure there's some pretty ridiculous things in your phone. Like,
But what's so crazy to me is like everybody worship this guy. If you go to these blog sites, they're like, "Oh, you're my hero," to the
yeah,
hacker, and the hacker only got like a year and a half, and meanwhile, I'm like, years
now
later,
lost a
it's like,
lifetime. Yeah,
and then what sucks about it is like, I've been in relationships and the guys will always bring this up. Even if they're like, okay, yeah, like I'm understanding of this and I'm so sorry that
hmm
happened to you. But then after a while, it's like their family might say something or somebody says something and then they're feeling insecure about it or something. And then
yeah.
now I have to like coddle this grown ass man and explaining like, dude, I was a fucking victim, like why don't you understand that? And that's what's
You got to
so.
take that as a positive, though.
Right.
Like, look at that as that's the person that you don't want to be with.
Yeah.
That's what I like. That's how I got over the thing with the marriage thing online.
Yeah.
Is I quit looking at it as a negative, and I go, no, this is actually a positive of filtering out people that are going to be emotionally crazy at some point in time. Like,
Yeah.
over, because if they're not believing on that I'm presenting them the whole truth, I'm like, they're going to be a problem at some other point in time, and like
Yeah.
where I don't want to have to deal with that if things are more invested. So I would look
And
at
I
it the
think
same
a
way.
lot of people, they don't understand like when you're in the public eye, there's this whole other world of things that come with it.
Yeah.
So like
Oh, I know.
when I've been in relationships, I like never go public about it. I'm very private.
Yeah.
And
Same.
like that's another thing that some people don't understand, but they're not going to get that once I do say something about it, then they're going to get tagged by all these other people. So it's almost
Yeah.
like I'm protecting them from all this like negativity.
Yeah. Oh, I've had that. Like, we're the same, because I'm November 10th. You're November 11th, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
We have like similar personalities on that. I'm the
Yeah.
same way, like with that. And two, because it's like if I post a photo and I go on, I've done it where I've go on a date and I post a photo out and things, and then but people from that know me start following and messaging that person and bombarding them, and like, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I just let go. I'm not even. It's just better to avoid that altogether and have your personal. That's why I live my personal life, and I just keep it away. Like, I don't put that stuff on there anymore.
No, exactly. So what do you
People are
think about
nosy.
what?
People are nosy.
I
I just
know.
say, mind your own business. It's like all the Will Smith and stuff. I tell people, like, mind your own damn business. But I
Right.
like, you have to have, like, I have my own business. I was like, the more time I spend on other people's business, the less time I have on my business. But
Yep.
like, that's just applies to everybody. But I was like, people don't have enough damn things going on in their lives, so they're miserable. So they're trying to like gossip and get all caught up in all the wrong things.
Yeah, and it's like what is it to you if you're going to talk about this or that? Like,
Yeah.
it's not going to change anything in your life. Why not just spend that time
Distractions.
into
Just
like bettering
distractions.
yourself, right?
Yep.
So like right now I'm trying to like well, I'm in the process of changing the laws, right? So against the whole hack leak crimes and
Yeah.
basically like getting more severe sentencing, and once they get out, if they get out, like they have to be like a registered sex offender, because right now they're getting sentenced as someone who's committing a hack crime and not a sex crime. So like it's like, dude, this is a sex crime. What they did is just digital. So
Yeah.
what do you think about the
Good for you.
laws, and do you think that they should be updated to like what's going on today in the world?
I think things constantly have to be looked at and evolved
Yeah.
in all walks of life, and with the laws, and things are rapidly. If you just look at the world we live in, and especially everything with cell phones and technology, things are rapidly changing. Just from the last 10 years, 15 years,
Mhm.
things have just changed. I mean, look at the way cell phones have changed. I remember being in when getting having regular the Nokias with no just they had, and like texting was such an amazing feature
Mhm.
on that. But like, and now just look at where we're at. I think, yeah, you have to look at those things, and And I'm a big believer in that. Like, I think things need to be much stricter and repercussions. Like, I think things are too lenient, and that's why people don't have a fear of what the crimes they commit. You know,
Yeah.
if punishments are more severe, I think that's going to help. It's never going to totally eliminate things, but I also say though, like, unfortunately, like on this planet, like there's a lot of evil people that don't play by the rules,
Hmm.
and evil people cannot be reasoned with. And that is, I'm of the mindset you need to get rid of the evil people.
Yeah.
Which is pretty can sound pretty harsh, but it's like, well, the other thing is we'll let the evil people do what the evil people do, and it ruins good people's lives. And
Yeah,
it's
that's
so
true.
and
And it's
that's what we
unfortunate,
live, yeah. And that's where it's I do my best to protect me, family, and the world that we live in, and to create a safe environment. But it's one of those things yeah, definitely the laws need to be. That's one of those things that you would know better than anyone because you've experienced it. And I think it's a good thing though that you are being proactive and trying to update these, and like, the damage has been done for you. So now what you're doing is just helping others in what you're doing, and so they don't have to experience, hopefully, what you emotionally had to and have to with all that. So I
Yeah,
don't
and
know.
it
It's
like
just
triggers down to all like areas of life, whether it's work or like relationships or image or like it's just so crazy how much it affects people, and I don't
yeah.
think people know about it because everybody's getting shamed and told not to talk about it because then
Yeah.
you bring more attention to it, and God forbid somebody else finds out now and Googles your name or looks up this
Yeah.
video or picture or whatever it might be, right? So I think I thought about it and I was just like, I'm gonna talk about it because I already had the whole world shame me for something I didn't do.
Yeah, yeah. That's you doing no 100%. That's being you and you being proactive on it and talking about it and being open. And
Yeah.
then what that does is that shuts down everything else, and where your followers and people that follow you actually make a deeper connection with you, and will be able to have feel in the pain that you've gone through with that. And I understand what you're talking about too. And like with like laws, I deal with the same exact thing. And like I've talked about like my WWE situation and left, and I have legal stuff going on that's all wrapping up soon. But there were a lot of lies and misinformation put out on me
Hmm.
when I walked out and left, and still to this day with that. And that's what, though, I took that negative of all. I started getting a lot of hate, like with people coming at me and social media within like the little wrestling bubble with that. And then I have the people that follow me that love me with that. And I go, I have to just put out my content and be myself. And then that way people make a connection and get to know me over time, where they then see those things and go, no, that's not true. I know that's not true because I
Yeah.
know I watch them. And then it worked out in my favor on that end with it. But I deal with that same thing, that if somebody looks up and there's stuff, and then somebody from some wrestling website wants to make up some clickbait article that's not
Mhm.
true. That's where I think there needs to be laws on this stuff, where these people were like, I've had to pay thousands of dollars to my attorney to have 9, 10 articles taken down
Yeah.
that were really bad. Then when they kept coming out, I go, I will not be able to afford this to keep doing this. They just keep, because there's no repercussions. They do it. You have to send a legal letter. Then if you do have to pursue it, now you have to go deal with court costs. Like it's an endless cycle of
Yeah.
like. And I
And
go,
who's
this,
paying for that? It's all you. So
yeah,
it's
it
like,
just hurts me, and it takes away from my business. It takes, I
yeah.
don't have the time and the energy. And I go, okay, there's that, and that's going to drive me crazy. Or just put out my content and live my life, and let the pieces fall where they may, and
Yeah.
give people both sides of the where they go. You can either believe the lies, and unfortunately, when you become famous and people know you, there's all those, I call them the evil people that just, I look at like the bottom tier people of the planet that, and I look at like media people, journalists, people that like, I look at all of them, and like, to me, very, not to say that all of them are that, but the majority that are making these lies up and profiting off of other people with that
Yeah.
in negative ways is a horrible thing that we definitely need to have more severe laws on, and just guidelines. And
Yeah.
because I see it all the time with people. Like, anybody could go make up anything in the social media world we live in,
Mhm.
And that's usually the piece that comes out first that's negative gets all the attention.
Yeah.
And then when it's proven to be wrong, nobody's paying attention at that point
Yeah,
anymore.
nobody ever pays. I know a doctor, he spent $1 million to like remove bad articles and
Mhm.
information about him. By then it was already damaged, and nobody publicized him
Yeah,
winning in court and spending $1 million to get his name like and everything,
yeah,
image and everything corrected, right? So that's what's so sad about this. Once the damage is already done, then that's all people know about it. Like
yeah,
they're like see you as this bad person, but they don't know the whole story. And that's what's so tricky about this whole world of media, because they can literally say anything they want. They can make up a
yeah,
whole story about you, and it's not even the truth,
yeah.
you know?
But people are very quick, and that's why I just try. And we're never going to be able to. That's why I've said, and there's billions of people on this planet, and like, I read a lot, and I've done a lot of self development. Nobody's ever going to be able to, like, these people have my understanding of things because they've not read and learned what I've learned. And so
Mhm.
my thing is, like, these people will drive ourselves crazy trying to change them because they don't
Yeah.
want to be changed. They don't have the energy, and they're already getting distracted in other people's business. So it's almost just like, be proactive on what you're doing with it, but it's just a big F you, and just live life and be happy with it.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, I deal with this stuff. I've gotten really good, and I've worked with a lot of people, and had when I used to do a lot more interviews on my show. I used my show to interview really smart people to
Mhm.
help me with the issues and things that I was dealing with, and get just free lessons, and make money along the way doing it. And it's like,
Yeah.
I'm like in such a great place with all them. Like, just do what you want to do for that, to try to help people on that, and then just keep living life and just keep doing the things. The more time though we like spend trying to convince these people that they're wrong on that,
Yeah.
it just takes away from our happiness in life. I was like,
Exactly.
we know they're wrong, and then just live our life, put out our content, do our stuff, and then the ones that are going to love us are going to love us, and the ones that are going to hate us are going to hate us, and that's never going to change regardless. So I was like, might as well just live my life and just,
Yeah. Just be
right.
happy, and
Yeah,
just from now on, like, protect other girls so it doesn't happen to them, or
yeah,
boys, or women or whatnot, because
yep,
I just don't want anyone else to go through that, because I think if I was younger, I wouldn't have survived it.
yeah,
But yeah, I think we're gonna start with this, and then it's gonna be like other things in the cyberspace that needs to be corrected and
yeah.
updated and all that kind of stuff.
They're
But
behind on all of this. Yeah,
yeah, but thank you so much for doing this. I'm like so happy I got to like talk to you and everything. Is there
thank
like
you.
any way people can find you, or like social media, or what are you working on now that you want to
Yeah,
talk about?
the big thing is I have my Feed Me More Nutrition supplement line with
Mm-hmm.
everything. We started with 3 supplements. We now have 13, sweetened with stevia and monk fruit, no artificial sweeteners or colors. We don't use any harmful ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
With that, it's for men and women, also vegan friendly for all people to use. And that website is feedmemore.com. It's also available. I believe half of the supplements are on Amazon through one of my sellers on there as well. But I did make a discount code for your listeners and followers to save 20%. Oodles 20, Oodles 20
Oh,
on
thanks.
feedmemore.com. They could save 20%. That code's already active on that. And then on social media, on Instagram and TikTok, I'm the Big Guy Ryback 22. I am the most followed pro wrestler on TikTok behind The Rock. With that, so we are going well on like 2.5 years of being on there, and I make a
Nice.
lot of entertaining, ridiculous content, as well as health and nutrition. I have the Feed Me More Nutrition as well, raising awareness on all that end. And the Ryback Show and Feeding Time on Ryback TV on YouTube. We are just hitting 400,000 subscribers in a 3-year period. So thank
Nice.
you to everyone that's following and supporting on that. And the goal is to be back pro wrestling this year. So
Yeah, did you ever like wrestle The Rock or no?
I've met him multiple times.
Mhm.
The Rock, true story, The Rock came back. I was in the WWE title match
Mhm.
my first year in the company against this guy.
Mhm.
That guy though, in The Rock, The Rock came back for this match a few months later, and everybody, I was the one that I was undefeated at the time, and where I was supposed to win this big match in everyone's eyes. But
Yeah.
the plan was for The Rock to fight this other guy, and
Ah.
I wanted that so bad because it would have meant I would have got to fight The Rock
Yeah.
my first year in pro wrestling, which is huge.
Yeah.
And but man, he's a very nice guy. I've met him multiple times, and always just very nice and sincere. And he was but yeah, he's kicking ass in life for sure.
Yeah, I know. He's like taking over the world.
Yeah,
You
he'll
know?
probably be the president at some point in time.
Right?
So.
He's cooking. I'm like, he's not cooking noodles. I'm like, hey, The Rock, I want to wrestle you. You
Yeah, you guys saw
cooking
your
cup
picture with
noodles?
him. By the you're around a lot of great people. That was really jealous of you and Mr. T also.
Oh yeah, so Mr. T is super cool. We did a commercial together. It's like a STD commercial for that guy that I told you about,
Yeah.
the doctor. He was the Biggest Loser doctor, Rob Huizenga.
Okay.
So we did this commercial, and like he was so cool. Like he was like the nicest guy ever, and he makes all these little toys for kids, and like
Hmm.
does a lot for the community and all that kind
Awesome.
of stuff. So he's a really good guy.
Good deal. Well, we're
Yeah.
gonna have to get once I'm back. My supplement manufacturer is in Valencia, California. Also, by the way,
Oh,
we're gonna have
nice.
to get a photo so I could join the walk. So you and The Rock, Mr. T, we'll have to
Yeah.
make sure.
Well, we're gonna have to collab whenever you come down here. I'm always around, so just let me know.
I'm gonna make you do a vegan feeding time with me where we go. It always has to be in the car. Those videos are so much fun, and where we do a vegan food video.
What do you mean? Like you're gonna make me eat vegan food, or?
Yeah, but I record. I do. That's what I do once a week. I do. So the connection to that is my Feed Me More Nutrition,
Yeah.
and we market on all the platforms and on YouTube. So,
Mhm.
but like in the people that watch, I do one food video a week. It's my cheat meal, my one cheat meal every week. I
Oh,
go to a
so
new
good.
place or get new food items and show people all the vegan food that we have available.
Mhm.
So I do my cheat meal and I have a conversation with people like 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes of
Yeah.
just me in the car talking and being entertaining and silly. But I was like, every once in a while, like I've done it with a couple people before where you have someone in the car with you and it's actually like, I'm going to keep doing that when I'm back wrestling and have
Yeah.
more guests on it I'm going to do that till the day that I'm done, like die. It's,
Yeah.
and
That we got to do it because I love eating and I love cheating.
it'll be the perfect. I'm telling you, it will be Uldouz and
Yeah.
the Big Guy at the vegan restaurant in LA somewhere. It'll be fun.
Yeah, let's do it. Like I'm always here, so just let me know. You got my info. I'm
I
gonna
will.
put all of the links too of
Okay.
your socials and your website in the description, so people could just like easily follow you.
Awesome.
All right, but thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate you,
Thank you,
and I'll
Uldouz.
talk to you soon.
Awesome. Have a good one. Thank you.
All right, you too. Bye bye.